I just think that as sports evolves, there's going to be more and more different opportunities than what we can even imagine now. There's going to be different roles. There's going to be different positions that are necessary, and I think it doesn't really matter sometimes what you're educated in. It matters that learning is important to you. It matters that you have the discipline to be successful in education, because if you have a growth mindset and you're open to learning, you can do any role. You can be taught how to have a certain skill set, whether it's a general manager or a basketball coach or data analytics or selling tickets or creating content. Someone can teach you that skill set. It's harder to teach someone to fall in love with learning, to fall in love with growing, and to have an open mindset about the possibilities. And I think that that's what education does for you.
The role that sports played in my life, specifically basketball, was to me life-changing. It's hard for me to imagine what my life would be if I didn't play sports and didn't play basketball. I think the first thing that it did for me was it brought me around people and environments where I felt comfortable being myself, right? Where I didn't stand out in a bad way. It was very positive of the things that made me stand out maybe when I was at school or in class. And so I think the people that I was around, the environments that I was in, it allowed me to find a way to realize that I wanted to stay in sports, no matter if I was playing or if it was after basketball was over. So I think I wouldn't be where I am today, I wouldn't be in the job that I am if I didn't have sports when I was younger.
I think for me, discipline and resiliency have probably been two characteristics that I took from playing sports that have really, shaped who I've become as a leader. I think sports teaches you that it's not always easy, and that although it's hard to fail, like if you don't put everything out there, you're never going to also be able to experience success. And so you have to kind of swallow those hard moments in order to bounce back and feel more of a reward in the moments of glory. I also think the discipline to be a student athlete at a Division I college is tremendous, and finding the time to study, to get extra shots up, to get a lift in, to sleep and to eat and do all the things that I needed to do to take care of my body and also be a great student, that took work and that took time. And I think it had prepared me to be a mom. It prepared me to be a leader because I can multitask. Nothing ever feels too big for me. Nothing ever really makes me feel negative stress, because I experienced so much of that throughout my basketball career. And throughout my career as a student athlete, that I think really prepared me for this moment.
I think the biggest challenge that I face as a woman in sports, I think it's just the doubting that comes, I think, sometimes of being a woman, right? I think it's not necessarily the sport, it's about when someone watches and who they're seeing play. I think sometimes there's a different thought when it's a woman or a female athlete versus a male athlete, and so I think that's always kind of fueled me to say, we might not be able to do the exact same things on the court or go about the same way, but that doesn't mean the product isn't as good or we're not as high level of athletes. And so I think for me, that's always something that's been a driver for me, and also made it where I wanted to go to a place, where I got to go to school and go to college where female athletes were celebrated, where women's basketball was a big deal. And I think that was a big deciding factor in why I chose to go where I did.